Alright, hello everyone. I finally got around to creating a video for my little lab environment that I set up here in Azure. I created this and I went through all this just because I wanted to understand this product a little bit. I've done some cybersecurity work for some companies, and I know that there's a few different products out there for security event management and log analytics and whatnot. So I got curious and really wanted to understand the product a little bit better. So I created this little lab. I'm sure you can, if you wanted to, you could follow my GitHub. It's just github.com/amorales145, and I have two repositories. Well, one repository here with two different little write-ups here, and this is it. This is the Azure SOC and SIEM. Again, we're going to go through every single step here. It's a long document. You're obviously more than welcome to follow along with all of the steps. I forget how many there are, but there's quite a few, and somewhere around 14, 15 steps. And there's a lot of detailed information in here, so you can follow along with this if you want, or just watch the video and follow along with the video. Entirely up to you. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Here we go. All right, so you're going to have an Azure subscription. That goes without saying. And the first step is we're going into resource groups. We're going to create a resource group. I'm going to name mine Tech3. You can name yours whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. Okay, that's good. That's done. We're going to create. Just make sure that's good. Excellent. We're going to create a virtual machine. This is going to be a Windows 10 virtual box. We're going to put it in our resource group. I'm going to call it 10. And I'm going to put mine in zone 2. You can kind of mess around with these settings a little bit. Sometimes it gets a little weird setting up virtual machines. Sometimes they won't spin up as quickly as you'd like them to. So this is going to be a Windows 10 Pro version 22H2. And we are going to use 2 vCPUs. 8 gigs of RAM. Yeah, that should be fine. I'm going to create a username. Call it tech admin. These machines are going to be vulnerable. We're purposely making them as vulnerable as possible, just so we can gather as much data from logs and different settings we're going to be setting up here. Confirm that. That's all good. Next. We don't have to change anything here. Networking. We're going to create a new virtual network. This is all standard. That doesn't change. That's good. This all stays the same. None of that changes. Nothing changes here. Nothing changes here. lot of the information that I put together here has just been from different resources, different websites. I read a lot of information on Microsoft's website, different sources. There's a few other GitHub repositories out there. There's a lot of videos. There's a lot of content on YouTube alone just to understand this a little bit. And that's really my main goal, is to try to understand how this is all set up and how it could be set up within Microsoft Sentinel, because everything's going to be ingested into Microsoft Sentinel. Okay, so that's good. Virtual machine is done. That was a Windows 10 box. We're going to create a Linux machine. That's good. Put it in the same resource group. Make sure you put it in the same resource group. This is going to be 22.04. Okay. 2 eCPUs, 8 gigs of RAM. There should be plenty. We're not going to use an SSH public key. We're going to just use a password here. All right. Whoops. Okay, there we go. SSH is open. This stays the same. Virtual network. Make sure it's in the same virtual network. Yes, we're going to make sure that. What is happening? I'm not seeing my virtual network here that I created. Alright. Gotta pause this 1 sec. Alright, I was having an issue with my virtual network. It wasn't populating for whatever reason, but it's good now. So yeah, just make sure that you put the Linux machine in the same virtual network. Okay, so that's good. Nothing changes here. It's all the same. Nothing in monitoring. Nothing in advanced. Everything stays the same here. There's no changes to be made here. Okay, create. Alright, that was created. Now we are going to go to network security groups. The network security groups are they're basically like a firewall. So we're going to go to Windows, NSG. We are going to delete this rule here. Sorry about that. Let's see. Security rules. We are deleting this. Just to that. And again, we're making these network security groups as vulnerable as possible. Add any source, any, all port ranges, and we're going to say all to that as well. And yeah, as you can see, everything, this is wide open. Okay, so that's that. And we're going to do the same thing for the Linux. Delete that. Add. Any custom. And we're going to hit add. So both the Windows 10 machine and the Linux box are completely wide open, vulnerable to all different sorts of attacks. The Windows machine is vulnerable to RDP and SSH for the Linux machine. You're going to see a lot of brute force attacks. We're just going to gather as many logs as possible to ingest it into Log Analytics and then into Microsoft Sentinel. Alright, so now that's good. The network security groups are vulnerable. Same, delete SSH. Okay, that's done. Okay, so now we're going to go to our virtual machines. You're going to copy the public IP address. Open up my desktop. I'd like to configure this a little bit. Display. That's okay. Good. And connect. Okay, so we can just turn all this off. None of this is relevant currently, except say no to that. Close all that. Windows Defender Firewall. Let's do this one. Run as administrator. Okay. We're going to turn this off. These are all off. Apply, okay. Excellent. Alright, so that's good. Alright, now we're going to create an SQL database. We're going to download SQL Server, the evaluation, the 2019 evaluation of SQL Server. Let's start with your data. First, you got to get through all this here. SQL Server 2019 evaluation. Okay. There we go. We're going to select download media, ISO, download. Alright, download successful, open. We are going to right click on the ISO, mount, and run the setup. We're going to click on installation. Excuse me, we're going to click on new SQL Server standalone. Yep, that stays the same. Evaluation, that does not change. Accept that. Next. We don't need that. Next. I am going to be pausing this a lot, but I'll always record when any changes are made, and this is going to be pretty much to the T. You're not going to miss anything, but I am going to pause it a lot because this video can go on for 2 hours, and I don't want that to happen. So we're going to select SQL Server. Where is it? Standalone and database engine services. That's that. Next to that. Next to that. Server configuration, we're going to say next to this. And we're going to select mixed mode. And just put in your password. Okay, we're going to add current user. Alright, next to that. Install. Alright, this is completed. Close that out. We're going to, okay, let's see. Please wait a moment. Okay. We'll let that do its thing. We have to go, we have to download SSMS. This could be done through PowerShell also, but it's just way easier to do it through SSMS. Alright, just go ahead and install SSMS. Alright, so that's completed. We're going to restart. Back. Not quite. Come on. Okay, there we go. Open up Event Viewer. Just going to leave this here for now. message edit. Whoops. We're going to go to HQ local machine, system, current control set, services, event log. Security. We're going to right click here, permissions, and we're going to add network service. We're going to grant full control to that, hit apply. Okay. We can close that out now. All right, so we're gonna go back to okay, we're gonna go to this link. This is all provided in the GitHub. I'm gonna scroll down here. And we are going to copy this command here. Paste that in there. That's good. I'm going to go to SQL Server Management Studio. Once this opens up, we're going to go to SQL Server Authentication. Trust Server Certificate. Right-click, Properties. We're going to go to Security, and we're going to select both failed and successful logins. Okay. Say okay to that. Disconnect. And we will reconnect. And we'll just type password wrong a few times just to generate some failed login attempts. Okay, close that out. Okay, we're going to go to Event Viewer. Logs, application. And we're just confirming that we are getting data in the application logs. Okay, password did not match. Administrator. Okay, so that's good. All right, so just to recap really quick, both virtual machines are set up. They're fully vulnerable. We set up the SQL database. Both NSGs, both both network security groups are vulnerable. So we are going to now move on to create an attacker virtual machine. So we can minimize this. We can go to virtual machines back in Azure, create. We're going to put this in a new resource group. We're just going to call it attacker. Oops. Attacker VM. This is going to be another Windows 10 box, but we're just going to call it attacker. Windows 10 Pro. That's good. Username. For that, disks, networking. We're going to create a new virtual network. I'm just going to call it attacker VM. Okay. That all stays the same. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. Review and create. Pass, very good, create. Alright, so once the virtual machine is created, you're just going to go ahead and you're going to copy, you're going to go to virtual machines, you're going to go to the attacker machine, you're going to copy the IP address, you're going to remote desktop in. Okay, again, we're just going to say no to all this. Accept. We're going to go, okay, so that, we're going to go back to our virtual machines and we're going to copy the Windows 10 vulnerable machine. We're going to copy the IP address and go back to our attacker machine. What I'd like to do here is this is being really slow. This just kind of helps me identify it just by looking quickly that this is the attacker machine. Alright, so we're going to RDP. We're not going to successfully connect to the Windows 10 machine. We are purposely creating fail attempts. Could be anything. So that's good. install SSMS on the attacker machine. Okay, we're going to install. Alright, so once that's done, we're going to open up SSMS. We'll let that open. We'll go back here. We're going to copy our Windows 10 box IP address. Just going to select SQL Server Authentication, and this could be anything. We're just going to create some failed logins. Good. We're going to open up PowerShell. You could use PowerShell or you could use just a regular command prompt. It doesn't really matter. In any case, we're going to open that. We're going to create some failed logins in our Linux box. Okay, I just decided to successfully authenticate on the last one just because, but yeah, we're just generating logs, that's all. So that's good for that. What we could also do is we can log in successfully from our own host machine. Well, not host machine, but from our machine. And we can SSH and here we're going to go into log. We're going to take a look at the authentication log. So we're just going to do cat auth.log. as you can see, these are the failed logins we created. This machine hasn't been up long enough to really get attacked from an SSH brute force attempt perspective, but if you let this run overnight, tomorrow morning you can log back in and take a look at it, and you're going to see this log is going to be significantly bigger than what it is. So yeah, moving on. That's good. All right, we're gonna create a Log Analytics Workspace in Microsoft Sentinel. So we're gonna go to that in a sec. Okay, so we're gonna go back here. We're gonna go to Log Analytics Workspaces. Create a Log Analytics Workspace. Put it in your resource group. We're going to call it Log Analytics Workspace. Okay, let's see next. Next to that, review and create. Alright, so once that's deployed, I'm going to go into Microsoft Sentinel. We're going to select our Log Analytics Workspace. Once we select our Log Analytics Workspace within Microsoft Sentinel, we're going to go to Workbooks. Oh, I'm sorry, no, we're going to go to Workspace. Sorry about that. We're actually we're going into a watch list. That's good. Okay. I'm going to click New, and this is going to this is for the geographic mapping of some files we're going to import here. Okay. This has to be named exact, so it has to be GeoIP. We're going to browse for the file. Just, I have it. Yeah, so this file, all these files are provided in my GitHub as well. So you could download them and then use them and follow along. This is definitely going to take some time to populate. So it's taken up to like even a half hour. So on the bottom here, we're going to select network. Okay, search key. Okay. Next, review and create. And create. Alright, recorded. Now you should see a total count of 54,803 entries in here. And again, it could take anywhere between 15 minutes to a half hour to completely populate. So we'll let that do its thing. And then we will continue shortly. All right, so if we go to Log Analytics Workspaces, open that up, and we go to Logs, we can actually query, this. You're basically going to use get watch list, and you're going to select GeoIP, and you're going to do count. Yeah, we're only at 1,000. But again, if you go to Log Analytics Workspaces, select your workspace, you go to Logs. This is known. This language is known as KQL. You can research this, and there's a lot of information out there on KQL. But it's great because you could really pinpoint specific information, specific to everything related to login attempts, anything. You can really narrow this down. Once we get into like the tail end of this, we're gonna see like how certain rules are set up within Microsoft Sentinel, and how the rules can show you some of the different strings in the code, and how you can kind of figure out and correlate how to use this. It's really helpful to understand a little bit. But again, you can just, this video is not really about this. This is just showing you how you could use this as a tool to gather more information and really get granular. So yeah, this has a ways to go. We'll come back to the next steps shortly. Okay, this is still populating. For now, we could kind of move on. We're going to go to Microsoft Defender for Cloud. I'm going to go to Environment Settings. So go to your subscription and go to your Log Analytics Workspace. We're just going to make sure that servers are on and SQL servers is on as well. Save that. Data collection, and we're going to select all events. Save that. Go back here. Environment settings. Click on your Azure subscription. Go down to Cloud Workload Protection. And here we're going to confirm that servers are on. Okay. Databases, storage key vault is on. Okay, very good. Back to environment settings, subscription. I'm going to click on continuous export. to select the Log Analytics Workspace tab. Everything here must be checked. Continuous export, Log Analytics Workspace tab, secure controls. That should all be checked. You're going to select your resource group. And your target workspace. This is your Log Analytics Workspace. Okay, nothing else. And then just hit save. Okay, now we're going to go to storage accounts. We're going to create a storage account. This has to be a very unique name. Make sure you put it in your resource group. Make sure it's not the attacker or anything else. It's got to be in your resource group. It could just be anything. I'm going to call it storage. So next to that, next, and create. NSGs. We're going to select Windows first. Okay, once you're in your excuse me, network security group for Windows, for your Windows box, we're going to go to network security group flow logs. We're going to create. Select Windows 10. Retention days is going to be 0. Okay, that's good. So, next to that. And we want to make sure that we select Flowlog version 2. Next to that, next, and create. We're going to do this for both the Windows 10 box and the Linux box. Back to network security groups. NSG flow logs. Again, now we're creating the flow log for the Linux box. Create. Select source network security group, and we're selecting our Linux machine. Selection. Okay, that's in here. Retention day 0. Analytics version 2. Next, next, and create. All right, so now we're going to go to Log Analytics Workspace. Select your workspace. We're going to go to, whoops, one sec here. We're going to go to Agents. Data collection rules. Create a data collection rule. We're going to call it all rules. We're going to select Windows and Linux, so we're going to select all. Nothing here. Resources. We're going to add resources. We're going to select both Linux and Windows. Apply. We're going to add a data source. For Windows logs. For Windows event logs, we're going to select audit success and audit failure, destination. We're going to select your subscription, our Log Analytics Workspace, add data source. And that's just for Windows. So now we're going to go back and we're going to add the Linux syslogs. So here, we're going to select log debug and log authenticate. You're better off scrolling all the way down and just using the up arrow and selecting none. These have to be done manually, unfortunately. So you select none for everything. That's that. With the exception of log underscore auth. That stays log debug. That. We're going to say next. This is self-explanatory here. We're going to select our Azure monitor logs, our subscription, and our Log Analytics Workspace. Add data source. Next, next, and review and create. Create. Okay, once that's done, we're going to go back to our Log Analytics Workspace. That. We're going to go to Agents, Data Collection Rules, select all rules, and we're going to go to Data Sources. We're going to click on Windows Event Logs, and now we're going to add a custom entry here. This is all this is all within the XPath file that is provided in GitHub as well. We're going to copy that, paste it, add, and we're going to copy this. And as you can see, it's self-explanatory. These entries, they're for Windows Defender. This is just pulling specific event IDs, and for the firewall as well. So we're going to select. We should be just saving this, I believe. So we just save that. That's good to go. I have had some weird issues where, for some reason, the resources don't populate immediately. So I like to go back into Log Analytics Workspace, our workspace, data collection rules, resources, just to verify that they're in here. So yeah, you just want to make sure that this is in here. All right, so that's good for that. On to the next step. Okay, so in our Log Analytics Workspace, we're going to go to Logs, and we're just going to query. I mean, this may not come up because, this is newly set up. Sometimes this takes a little bit of time, a few hours, but we can query a few things here. Up. Yeah, nothing's going to come up yet, but trust it. Trust the process. It'll come up. Security event. Okay. Nothing yet. This is not going to come up yet. It won't populate yet, but give it some time. It will eventually. All right, we're going to go to Microsoft Entra ID. Diagnostic settings. Add audit logs and sign-in logs. Select Add Diagnostic Setting, Audit Log, and Sign-in logs. Let me discard that for 1 sec. I just want to take a peek at something here. Okay. Yeah, I just had my old Log Analytics Workspace in here, so I'm just deleting that from the last time I ran the lab. Call this, you can name this whatever you want. I'm just going to call it DS. And we're selecting audit logs and sign-in logs. Give it a name, that's that. Check destination details. We're going to select Send to Log Analytics Workspace. Make sure you select your Log Analytics Workspace. And that's that. Let's save that. We're going to go back to Microsoft Entra ID. We're going to create an account. Let's go back here. Entra. Manage users. User. We're going to call it test. Properties. We're going to global admin. Select, never. Next, review and create, create. Open up incognito window. Yeah, we're opening up an incognito window and we're going portal again, and we're basically just logging in with the account we created, but we're not successfully logging in. We're just creating some failed attempts. Okay, so that's good. We're going to go back to our Log Analytics Workspace, go to Logs, and we'll just take a look and see if anything is coming up yet based on the alerts we've created. And no, not yet. It's going to take some time. It's probably going to take a few hours. You can check it. Again, let this, let this go for a few hours, maybe even check it again tomorrow. And give it a good 24 hours, and then you'll be able to sort through all this and see how it all ties in. All right, so from here we're going to create logs on a subscription level, so we can monitor our subscription. So you go to monitor. We go to activity log. Click on export activity logs. We're going to add a diagnostic setting, and we are going to select all log activities. We're going to basically select everything here. Let's see. What's that? We're going to name it Azure activity. We're going to send it to our Log Analytics Workspace. Okay, that's correct. Yeah, this is going to send all subscription level events to our Log Analytics Workspace. Save that. Let's go back to our Log Analytics Workspace, logs, and we are going to type Azure activity. I don't know if this will populate yet, but no, not yet. It's going to take time. Give it time. It will work. Okay. Let's go to resource groups. We're going to create a resource. Could be anything. Doesn't matter. Anything. Next. Review and create. And we're just going to delete it. Okay, now we're going to create resource level logs. So we go to storage accounts. storage account. Could be anything. Create that. Once the storage account is created, we're going to go back to the storage account, go to diagnostic settings, we're going to select blob, we're going to add a diagnostic setting. We're going to select audit. We're going to give it a name. DS. And we're going to send this to our Log Analytics Workspace. Right. There's nothing else here. Okay. Save that. Okay, now we're going to go to storage accounts. Yeah, we're going to go to storage accounts. You can select either one, it doesn't matter. We're going to go to containers. Create a container. Just call it test, whatever. Create. Now we're going to go to key vaults. We're going to create a key vault. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay. Select user on. Select next. We're going to select vault access policy under access configuration. We're going to select our name. Select that. Make sure you don't forget to do that. That's important. Select we're going to say next, next, next. Create. We're going to go back to key vaults. We're going to generate a secret. Test. Test. Testing. 5. Create. And we're just going to go into the secret, and we're just going to view it. Just the simple act of viewing this will generate some logs. Just click it a few times. Yeah, so then we'll go back to our Log Analytics Workspace. Select your workspace, go to logs, and you're just going to run this, and you're going to see that it's going to show you that it's capturing data. So anything that's created will come up. So here it is. That's the storage account we created. So that is a good thing. This is working. Okay, so now we're going to go to Microsoft Sentinel. We're going to select our Log Analytics Workspace. And we're going to go to Workbooks. Whoops. We're going to click Add Workbook. We're going to edit this. We're going to delete or remove that. Remove whatever's in here that's default. We're going to click Add Query, Advanced Editor. We're going to go to, we're going to add all of these one by one here. SSH. I mean, you can name it whatever you want. I mean, this is just basically the Linux box. You could name it whatever you want. Resource group, Tech3. Okay. Hit save as. And it's just going to give you a graphical view of a map where these attacks are coming from. As you can see, this one is from China. We're going to do the same thing for the rest. So this is pretty self-explanatory. Removing this. That's good. Add query. Advanced editor. Back. We're going to add SQL. Close that out. Paste that. Done editing. Save. That's SQL. Select your resource group. Save as. If we run this, yeah, nothing's going to come up yet, but eventually, once we start getting hit on that machine, moving along, edit, remove, query, advanced editor, back. This is for the network security groups. Paste that, done editing. This might not populate yet, which is fine. We'll just save it. We'll call it NSG. We can call it NSG malicious track, whatever you want to call it. I just keep it simple. NSG Tech3 resource group. Save as. Add workbook. Edit. RDP hasn't returned anything yet. We haven't been getting hit on that machine yet. Save that. Okay, so the workbooks are complete. Okay, now we're going to go to Microsoft Sentinel. We're in Sentinel. We're going to go to Analytics. Excuse me. And we are going to import our Microsoft Sentinel Analytics rules. So you're going to select this JSON file. And as you can see, they have been imported. I mean, these are very specific. You can edit them however you want. But essentially, this is what is going to, these rules are going to directly correlate to KQL scripts that you could run to gather information. Let's see. Severity. So, you know, for Windows brute force, or Linux, let's say, you can take this and you could run specific, if you go to Log Analytics Workspace, logs, close this out. You're not going to get anything yet. I mean, no, not yet. It's open. Query cannot be parsed. Yeah, there's not enough coming in yet, but yet, essentially, all of these rules tie into KQL. So, and then once you're in Microsoft Sentinel, you can. These are the main functions within Microsoft Sentinel. Let's see if we have any incidents. Yeah, nothing's going to come in yet, but give it some time. Give it a few hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, and you'll start to see incidents come in, and you'll be able to get comfortable with this. It took me a few times to really understand how to put this lab together and get it smooth enough where it was kind of making sense, how everything feeds into Microsoft Sentinel. All the data feeds into, you know, Log Analytics Workspace. But yeah, you can poke around, and hopefully this was informative. This was just my curiosity of how you know, Microsoft Sentinel works, and how to ingest all this data into Microsoft Sentinel. This is all the research I've done. So yeah, you can go ahead. I'll put the link in the description of the video to my GitHub. And yeah, hopefully you found this useful. If you have any questions, you could always message me, and I'll try to help you the best I can with whatever I can find out, whatever other information I get. If there's anything else that I could that I find to make this more useful, I'll definitely update my GitHub. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you liked the video. Have a good one.